So when we're done machining our piece, we can look at our piece here and we can see that we have all these burrs that if we try to measure with a caliper or something, we might actually touch the burr instead of actually touching the part, which would give us the wrong measurement. So what we're gonna do is first we have to deburr the piece, right? So to deburr the piece, we can have it in the machine. We're gonna try to work away from the chuck. And let's clear the space out so it can work. So I'm gonna try to turn the machine on very slow. We're in low. We're in a very low speed here. So I'm gonna turn it on. And then now I'm gonna try to hold my file in a way that if anything goes wrong, I can just let the file go and the file will just fly in the direction that we tell nobody to stay with. You know, the line of fire right in front of the chuck. So I'm gonna hold my file, and I'm gonna kind of like push it gently up, touching my piece there. See, I can even move around the tip of my fingers, and because I have my chuck moving very slow, I can see the jaws very well. Sometimes when the people would try to do this procedure when the chuck is at full speed, so you don't see the chuck jaws like moving around. So there is a chance that you might put your hand too close to the chuck and then the jaws will hit your knuckles or your fingers or something. So we're gonna do it slow, right? Even if we finish machining, we just slow down and then we do the procedure, right? So now I've done this side, right? Let's point out to this is not a bed. So this is not a table. So let's not put any tools here, because with vibration of the equipment, there's a chance that something here is gonna fall on the chuck, and then the chuck might hit it and then it's gonna go flying, right? So we don't put anything there. Unlock it. Let's move it around. All right, just lock it in place. Now let's deburr the other side. Turn the machine on, very slow again. We can even actually ramp up a little bit, but it's not gonna be. And remember that the goal is not to actually change the shape of the piece and just like a deburr it, right? So now I've done both sides. So now I can take the measurement. All right, so one of the measurements that we have to take sometimes is actually length. So length, it's easier. We make sure that both sides are flat against the jaws of the caliper, and this one is reading 4.1735 inches, right? So so that's length. So one thing that we have to watch for is not to measure at an angle like this. Otherwise the measurement is going to be wrong. It's going to be a little bit more than what it should be. And the same when we measure the diameter. So right now my diameter measures like a 190 thousandths. So when I'm measuring the diameter, it's actually more, especially when this piece is actually on the jaw there, and we try to jump in and measure like this, there's a chance that our jaws are not going to be flat against the piece, right? So what I do is I pretty much I just put a lot of force with this hand, and then my jaws are gonna hold in the best position that's gonna have. So it's always gonna be the same measurement, and we can always take like a measurement, 8895. Take a measurement, 8895. See? So then that'll give you like a better. So this one is further down. So that one is further down in the piece there. See? So that's how we would measure with the caliper, right? We would like to make sure we measure all the dimensions that I define here on the document. And there's one that's this total runout, right? So to measure total runout, you know what total runout is from the resources. So the way that we're gonna measure it is like this. We're gonna put it in here. Secure it. Okay. So we're gonna get our dial. We're gonna seat it on the carriage there. We're gonna turn on the magnet, and then now I can bring this in. I'm gonna position my dial there. Okay, until it touches. So now I can see, and we can even move this that background a little bit, so it's right on 10 for me here. So now I can either turn my machine very slow, or I can just put it in gear, in neutral. Neutral is not, if I don't select low and I don't select high and I leave right in between, that's neutral. So that means it's actually a lot easier to actually move my chuck, see? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move my chuck and watch the needle. So right now in this one position, I'm going between 10 and 15. So that is a 5 thousandths run out there, right? So, but the total run out is actually, I have to do the same thing, but all along this surface, right? So what I'm gonna do is I know that's between 10 and 15. So now I'm gonna move my carriage a little bit, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm still between 10 and 15. So now I went to 9 and 14. So 10 and 15. All right, so 10 and 15. So that gives me 5 thousandths total run out, right? So according to our piece here, we're allowed 30 thousandths for total run out, so we're within range. Good. So this is how we're gonna do the measurement of let's see what other measurements do we have to take. So I'm gonna pull this guy out. So with the caliper, we can take measurements with the jaw that is outside diameter. I can take measurements with the with the opposite jaw here, that I would measure inside diameter if I put it inside of like a hole or something, and then I can measure depth by using this the other end of the, so I can just touch there and go all the way, and then now I'll measure whatever is this, the measurement of this piece here. See, I touch the end of the caliper there and I go all the way to that side. Again, the best way to measure, due to the uncertainty of the measurement, is actually take a few measurements and go all around, and then you would average. If you take like 3 and average, that's already a good start, you know. So remember, first deburr the piece so the burrs don't affect it. Know how to use your equipment, and know how to use your extra tools for GD&T measurement.